Sedona, Arizona. Red rocks, blue skies, and that feeling you're somewhere completely different. I've seen pictures before, but seeing this in person feels totally different. It's like the whole place is glowing. We flew into Phoenix first, then hit the road north towards Sedona. From there, the plan was simple. Explore, drive to the Grand Canyon, check out the Meteor Crater, swing back to Sedona, then head towards Scottsdale, and finally back to Phoenix. A full circle through some of the most beautiful spots in Arizona. We had just 3 full days to do it all. A quick trip, but packed with some of the most amazing views in Arizona. Before we hit the road, let's talk about what makes Arizona so special. The Grand Canyon is the first thing that comes to mind. One of those places that doesn't feel real until you're standing at the edge, looking out over miles of colorful cliffs and shadows. Sedona's red rocks are another highlight. The colors shift with the light. Bright orange in the morning, deep red by sunset. And there's something peaceful about the whole place. Some even say it's full of energy vortexes that make you feel grounded. The Sonoran Desert is home to giant saguaro cacti you see in every Arizona photo. They can live over a century, standing tall under the endless blue sky. Arizona is also known for its sunshine, more than 300 days a year. And that warm light gives everything a golden glow. And then there's the old western charm and Route 66, with those classic roadside diners and desert towns that feel like they belong in another time. That's the Arizona I came to see, wild, sunny, and full of character. Leaving Phoenix behind, the cityscape slowly gives way to open desert and wide skies. The road curves, and in the distance, those first red rock formations start peeking over the horizon. It's a short drive, but every mile feels like a preview of what's coming. The sun hitting the cliffs, the shadows stretching across the valley, and that quiet hum of the desert. By the time you roll into Sedona, you already know you're somewhere special. Our first stop is Bell Rock Trailhead. Finding a parking spot here is a bit of a challenge. It's a popular spot, so we circle around a few times before finally grabbing a spot. Once the car is parked, it's time to get ready. I switch into my hiking shoes, grab a small backpack, and head toward the trailhead. You can already feel the energy of the place just walking up, the red rocks looming above, the sun warming the desert floor, and the faint scent of desert sage in the air. Every step closer to the trail makes you realize why people come here from all over the world. The hike up Bell Rock is steady but manageable, and the trail loops around so you get a little of everything. Rocky paths, sandy stretches, and those iconic red cliffs towering overhead. As I climb, you can occasionally look north and catch glimpses of the valley below, with Sedona spread out like a tiny desert town among the red and greeny landscape. Bell Rock is made of sandstone, formed over 250 million years ago. Layers of ancient sand dunes compressed into rock, then lifted and eroded by wind and water over millions of years. That's why the cliffs have those smooth, rounded shapes you see here. Standing on the trail, you really feel the weight of time, and the way the land has slowly shaped itself into these dramatic formations. Every step on the loop gives a new perspective. Sometimes the rock feels massive and overwhelming. Other times, the valley views remind you how vast this place really is. After the hike at Bell Rock, we hop back in the car and head toward one of Sedona's most iconic landmarks, the Chapel of the Holy Cross. The drive itself is beautiful, winding through red rock canyons. Every turn seems to reveal a new formation, a new angle of the glowing cliffs. The chapel is perched dramatically on a red rock spur, built right into the cliffs. It was completed in 1956 and designed by sculptor Marguerite Stodd. The chapel's unique architecture makes it feel like it's rising out of the rock itself, blending perfectly with the landscape. From the car, you can already see the cross reaching up toward the sky, and the panoramic views of the surrounding desert are stunning. It's a short drive, but it feels like a journey deeper into the heart of Sedona, a place where art, faith, and nature meet in a way that's uniquely Arizona. As the sun begins to dip behind Sedona's red cliffs, we make my way to Tlaquepaque Arts and Crafts Village, a place that feels like stepping into an old Mexican town frozen in time. The moment I walk through its arched entrance, the air changes. The soft sound of fountains, the smell of fresh coffee and handmade candles, and the distant echo of a guitar all blend together into something warm and familiar. Tlaquepaque, whose name means the best of everything, in the ancient Nahuatl language, was built in the 1970s, inspired by a village near Guadalajara, Mexico. Every corner here was designed for artists. The cobblestone paths twist between stucco walls covered with ivy, and broad iron balconies overlook quiet courtyards where sculptures seem to breathe in the fading light. As I wander deeper, I can't help but slow down. This place has a rhythm of its own, calm, timeless, almost sacred. Couples sip wine under strings of lights. An artist paints the red rocks from memory. And somewhere in the background, someone is playing a soft Spanish melody on guitar. When night finally settles over Sedona, the village glows. Warm lanterns flicker against old adobe walls, and it feels like the perfect ending to a day filled with nature, history, and wonder. And as the lights dim and I head back for the night, I can already feel the excitement for what's coming next. A new day in Sedona, full of new discoveries waiting to be explored. The next morning starts early. The desert's still quiet under the first light. I pack up, grab a quick coffee, and head north. The red rocks of Sedona slowly fade in the rearview mirror as the road climbs toward one of the greatest wonders on earth, the Grand Canyon. A few hours later, I reach the south entrance station. I roll down the window, pay the park fee, and drive through the gates. That small moment of excitement when you know adventure is just ahead. The forest thickens, the air turns crisp, and soon the signs point toward Grand Canyon Village. A few more steps, and suddenly the view opens up. The ground seems to disappear beneath your feet, and there it is, the Grand Canyon. Vast, silent, almost unreal. Layers of rock stretch endlessly into the horizon, painted in reds, golds, and purples by the rising sun. No video or photo can ever capture the feeling of standing here. The scale, the stillness, the sense of time carved into every cliff and shadow. You can't help but pause and just take it in, the masterpiece of nature itself. We take a short walk along the rim trail, following the edge where every few steps reveal a new angle, a new color, a new depth. The sunlight shifts across the canyon walls, bringing the rocks to life. It's one of those walks where you barely talk. You just look, breathe, and feel small in the best possible way. After one last look at the canyon's edge, we hit the road again, heading east across the high desert. The red cliffs fade into open plains as we drive toward our next stop, the Meteor Crater. As I stand at the edge of this massive crater, it's hard not to feel small. This is Meteor Crater, also called Barringer Crater, carved into the Arizona desert some 50,000 years ago. A space rock, just over 50 meters wide, slammed into the earth at a mind-boggling speed of 27,000 miles per hour, leaving behind this enormous ball, over 4,000 feet across and nearly 600 feet deep. It's one of the best preserved impact craters on the planet, and scientists still study it to understand how meteorites have shaped our world. Standing here, you can almost imagine the incredible force that carved this landscape. Nearby, the visitor center shows meteorites and explains the science behind these cosmic collisions. But nothing compares to seeing it with your own eyes. Truly, this is a place where the Earth meets the stars.
Moving at 11 miles per second, a meteor raced through the solar system towards Earth. Immense shockwaves were created as it approached from the east. Hurricane-force winds threw 175 million tons of material in all directions. The shock of impact melted most of the meteor and spread it with the large plume of debris. It took just 10 seconds and Meteor Crater was formed.
As the sun begins to dip, we leave Meteor Crater behind, winding our way back through the desert, heading south to Sedona, reflecting on a day of jaw-dropping landscapes and cosmic history. Early morning, the red rocks of Sedona glow under the rising sun. Today's adventure takes us to Cathedral Rock, one of the most iconic and breathtaking hikes in Arizona. The trail starts off gentle, winding through dusty red paths and desert shrubs. Soon, the climb turns steep, and every step demands focus. In some spots, you'll use your hands to pull yourself up the slick sandstone, a true scramble that makes the reward even sweeter. As I climb higher, the world opens up. The valley stretches below, painted in layers of orange and gold. The air feels thinner, quieter. At the top, the view is nothing short of spiritual. The red cliffs, the endless horizon, and that deep sense of peace that only Sedona can offer. The last stretch of the trail is the most demanding. The path narrows and the sandstone walls rise higher on both sides. My hands grip the warm rock as I climb the final ledges, each move bringing me closer to the top. The air is still, just the sound of my breath and the whisper of the wind echoing between the cliffs. And then, suddenly the view opens up, framed perfectly between two towering rock formations. Beyond them, the vast valley unfolds in shades of red, green, and gold. It feels like standing at the gateway to another world, silent, timeless, and impossibly beautiful. Moments like this remind me why Sedona is called a place of energy, a place that touches your soul. The climb down is slow and careful, every step on the slick red rock a small victory. The view behind me fades, but the feeling of this place stays, calm, powerful, unforgettable. On our way back to Scottsdale, we stopped by the roadside to admire one of Arizona's most iconic symbols, the mighty Saguaro cactus. Towering like silent guardians of the desert, these giants can grow over 40 feet tall and live for more than 150 years. Their arms, which make them so recognizable, don't even begin to grow until they're about 50 years old. Walking among them feels almost otherworldly. Each cactus stands unique, some reaching proudly toward the sky, others twisted by decades of wind and sun. Their flowers bloom only briefly in late spring, glowing white against the golden desert light. The Saguaro is the spirit of the Sonoran Desert, a living monument to endurance and time. The desert highway stretches endlessly ahead. As we leave Sedona behind, the red rocks slowly fade into the distance, giving way to rolling hills and open skies. Soon, Scottsdale welcomes us with its palm-lined streets and relaxed desert charm. We stroll through the heart of the old town, adobe-style buildings, cozy cafes, and art galleries glowing in the sunset. Then it's time to drive toward Phoenix Airport and catch our flight. Another trip comes to an end, but the memories of Sedona's red rocks and desert beauty will stay with us long after we're back home in Canada.